Welcome back to HFY Universe, the home of humanity's greatest science fiction stories. The emergency beacon screamed across 3 star systems. Every ship in the sector heard it. Every captain ignored it. The signal came from Outpost K-47, a forgotten mining station built on the edge of dead space. The place had no military value, no rich planets nearby, and almost no traffic. It existed only to watch an empty region of the galaxy that nobody cared about anymore. Until today. The last message was only 6 words. "They're coming. We were terribly wrong." Then silence. Hours later, a small patrol fleet from the Galactic Alliance finally arrived. Commander Velka, a proud officer from the powerful Archon Empire, stepped onto the dark station with 50 elite soldiers. The lights barely worked. The air smelled like burned metal. Every hallway was empty. No bodies. No signs of battle. Just deep claw marks cut into the walls. One young soldier whispered, "Commander, where did everyone go?" Velka didn't answer. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. The station records showed over 400 workers had been inside only 12 hours earlier. Now, every room was empty. Not even blood remained. Only broken helmets, crushed weapons, and silence. The deeper they walked, the colder the station became. Motion sensors detected movement. Hundreds of life forms. Then nothing. Again. The readings appeared and disappeared as if something was hiding between reality itself. Even the station AI refused to explain. "I cannot identify the life signatures." That sentence shocked everyone. Galactic Alliance scanners could identify almost every known species. If the AI could not recognize them, then they were not supposed to exist. Far away, inside Alliance headquarters, emergency meetings had already begun. Scientists believed a lost alien civilization had awakened. Military leaders expected pirates or unknown predators. Nobody imagined the truth. Only one person remained strangely calm. Admiral Elias Kane. The only human in the entire command room. He watched the reports without speaking. When the claw marks appeared on the screen, his face changed. He had seen them before. Long ago. On Earth. Deep below Antarctica. A classified mission that every government agreed to erase forever. The politicians noticed his reaction. "You know something?" one senator asked. Kane stayed silent. Finally, he said only one sentence. "If those marks are real, you should evacuate every colony within 50 light years." The room exploded with laughter. One alien general shook his head. Human fear always grows bigger than reality. Kane looked directly at him. "No. My fear isn't for us. It's for them." Back at Outpost K-47, Commander Velka reached the lowest level of the station. A giant security door stood open. Behind it waited the research laboratory. Every computer still worked. The screens showed recordings from only hours before. Scientists had discovered an ancient object buried inside a nearby asteroid. A black sphere. Perfectly smooth. No engines. No markings. No energy readings. Just waiting. Curiosity defeated caution. The researchers brought it aboard. For 12 hours. Nothing happened. Then one scientist touched it. The recording suddenly filled with static. Screams echoed through the speakers. The cameras shook violently. Dark shapes appeared inside the room. Not entering through doors. Not breaking walls. Simply appearing. As if space itself opened. The scientists fired plasma weapons. The creatures ignored every shot. One after another. People vanished. Not killed. Not eaten. Just erased. Commander Velka stared at the frozen screen. "What are those things?" No one answered. Then, a loud metallic sound echoed through the hallway. Clang, clang, clang. Heavy footsteps. Far too heavy for any known creature. The soldiers quickly formed defensive positions. Weapons aimed. Heartbeats raced. The footsteps stopped. Silence returned. One nervous soldier slowly opened the hallway scanner. Nothing. Empty. He took one careful step outside. Another. Then he disappeared. No scream. No warning. 1 second he existed. The next, He was gone. The entire squad froze. Panic spread instantly. Velka shouted, "Fall back. Seal every corridor." The doors slammed shut. Emergency barriers activated. For a brief moment, everyone believed they were safe. Then every light inside the station turned red. A cold robotic voice echoed through every speaker. Containment failure. Ancient prison open. Predators released. The words chilled every soul aboard. Predators? Released? Commander Velka immediately transmitted a priority message to Galactic Command. "This is Commander Velka. We have confirmed unknown hostile entities. We request immediate military reinforcement." She hesitated only 1 second before speaking again. "Send everything." The signal left the station. Across space. Across stars. Across the Alliance. Within minutes, the largest rescue fleet in Alliance history began moving toward Outpost K-47. Thousands of warships. Millions of soldiers. The galaxy believed they were sending enough firepower to stop any enemy. They had no idea. Their arrival would only feed the nightmare. The rescue fleet crossed the edge of dead space in perfect formation. More than 3,000 Alliance warships surrounded Outpost K-47. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their shields had survived wars. Every commander believed this mission would be over within hours. Only Admiral Elias Kane remained silent. He stood on the bridge of the human cruiser Resolute, watching the dark station through the main window. "It hasn't attacked them yet," he whispered. His first officer frowned. "Sir?" Kane never answered. Instead, he ordered every human ship to stay 5,000 kilometers behind the Alliance fleet. The alien admirals laughed. "Humans are afraid already." Another commander smiled proudly. "When this operation ends, perhaps we'll teach your species what real courage looks like." Kane looked at the station one last time. "I hope you're right." Inside Outpost K-47, Commander Velka and the remaining soldiers had sealed themselves inside the command center. The thick blast doors shook every few minutes. Something was outside. Something incredibly strong. Nobody dared open the cameras again. The last soldier who checked them had disappeared while staring at the screen. No scream. No warning. Just gone. Fear spread through the room like poison. One officer whispered, "Commander, do you think rescue has arrived?" Velka checked the sensors. Thousands of friendly ships filled space. Relief washed over everyone's face. "They came," she said softly. "We're saved." No one noticed the station AI quietly speaking to itself. Warning. Containment impossible. Ancient predators detecting new life. Outside the station, Alliance battleships surrounded every docking port. General Zarok gave the order. "Prepare boarding teams." Hundreds of armored transports launched toward the station. Their engines lit the darkness like falling stars. Admiral Kane stepped forward. "Stop." Every officer turned toward the human. "No one boards that station." General Zarok laughed. "Our people are trapped inside. We cannot abandon them." "You already have," Kane replied. The bridge fell silent. He continued. "Those creatures don't hunt worlds. They hunt movement. They hunt numbers. And you just brought them the largest meal in history." Before anyone could answer, every screen went black. For exactly 3 seconds. When the displays returned, the station had changed. It was larger, much larger. Its outer walls slowly unfolded like a giant flower opening in space. Metals stretched. Hidden structures emerged. Ancient symbols glowed across its surface. One frightened technician whispered, "The station, it's growing." Kane closed his eyes. No. It was never a station. Millions of years earlier, long before the Alliance existed, an ancient civilization had built a prison. Not for criminals. Not for invaders. But for something they could never destroy. Creatures born before recorded history. Beings that lived between dimensions. They did not conquer civilizations. They erased them. The prison was hidden inside dead space where no one would ever find it, until curious miners broke the seals. Back in the present, the first boarding shuttle reached the docking bay. Its doors opened. 20 elite soldiers stepped inside. Helmet cameras streamed everything live. Empty hallway, broken lights, silence. Then, one soldier stopped walking. What is that sound? The microphones picked it up. A heartbeat. Slow, heavy, impossible.
Thum, thum, thum.
Except, it wasn't coming from inside the station. It echoed through space itself. Suddenly, every camera filled with static. One by one, the soldiers vanished. No attack. No explosion. Just empty armor falling onto the floor. The live transmission ended. Not a single body remained. Panic spread across the fleet. General Zarok slammed his fist onto the console. Launch every fighter. Hundreds of attack craft rushed toward the prison. Lasers filled the darkness. Missiles exploded against the strange structure. Nothing happened. Not even a scratch. Then, the prison answered. Space cracked open around it. Not with fire. Not with energy. With darkness. Pure darkness. Huge shadows crawled out of invisible tears in reality. Each creature was larger than a battleship. They had no eyes. No wings. No faces. Only endless black bodies covered with moving claws that seemed to shift every second. Every scanner failed. Every computer crashed. The Alliance had no name for what they were seeing. Admiral Kane quietly spoke one word. Harvesters. The bridge froze. You know them, his officer asked. My grandfather did. Everyone stared at him. He slowly nodded. He was one of the 12 humans who entered the Antarctic vault nearly 80 years ago. They found records left by an unknown civilization. The records described monsters that hunted entire galaxies. No one believed them. The officer swallowed. And now, Kane looked toward the impossible creatures surrounding the fleet. Now I wish they had. Without warning, one harvester moved. Nobody saw how. 1 second it floated beside the prison. The next, an Alliance battle cruiser simply disappeared. No explosion. No debris. No distress call. 3,000 crew members were gone. Every remaining ship opened fire. Thousands of plasma beams crossed space. The darkness swallowed every shot. The harvesters did not even slow down. General Zarok finally understood. This is impossible. Kane answered calmly.
No.
This is extinction. Back inside the prison, Commander Velka watched the battle through a cracked observation window. Entire fleets vanished. Warships larger than cities disappeared like dust in the wind. For the first time in her military career, she accepted one terrifying truth. The Alliance had not arrived to rescue them. It had arrived exactly as the monsters had hoped. A feast. Velka slowly turned toward her remaining soldiers. Only 12 were left alive. She took a deep breath and activated the emergency communicator. This is Commander Velka. If anyone can still hear me, do not send more ships. It's already too late. At that exact moment, Admiral Elias Kane gave an order that shocked every human captain in the fleet. All human vessels, do not engage. Prepare Protocol Black. Every bridge officer stared at him in disbelief. Because Protocol Black had never been used before. It wasn't designed to win a battle. It was designed for something far more terrifying. To wake the one thing the harvesters had feared for thousands of years. Silence spread across the fleet. Even the harvesters stopped moving. As Admiral Elias Kane gave the order, every human warship changed formation. Instead of attacking, they formed a perfect circle around the remaining Alliance vessels. Alien commanders were furious. General Zarok shouted over the open channel. Human, have you lost your mind? Attack them. Kane remained calm. No weapon in this fleet can kill a harvester. Then what is Protocol Black? Kane looked at the ancient prison. It is the last promise humanity made. 80 years earlier, deep beneath the Antarctic ice, a secret human expedition discovered an underground city built by a civilization older than the stars. Inside its central chamber, they found a warning carved into walls that no known language could explain. Yet strangely, every human scientist understood its meaning the moment they touched it. It read, "When the darkness returns, only the children of Earth may close the gate again." Next to the warning rested an ancient device. The builders had left it behind because they knew one day the prison would fail. Human governments kept the discovery secret. They studied it for decades. No one believed they would ever need it. Until today. Back in the present, Kane removed a small metal case from a secure vault on the bridge. Inside rested a crystal no larger than his hand. It glowed with a soft blue light. His officers stared in silence. "This is the gate key," Kane said. "The ancient builders trusted humanity to protect it." His first officer whispered. "So, this was never just a legend." Kane nodded.
No.
Outside, the harvesters continued advancing. One by one, Alliance ships disappeared into darkness. No explosions. No wreckage. Only empty space remained. Millions of lives vanished within minutes. Panic spread across every surviving ship. Pilots tried to escape. Jump drives failed. The harvesters had surrounded the entire system. There was nowhere left to run. Commander Velka finally escaped the prison with her 12 surviving soldiers aboard a damaged shuttle. As she looked outside, tears filled her eyes. The greatest fleet in Alliance history was being erased. She whispered, "We were never fighting monsters. We opened the door for them." Kane stood before the navigation console. "Transmit this message to every ship." His voice echoed across the system. All Alliance forces stop firing immediately. General Zarok exploded with anger. "You expect us to surrender?" "No," Kane replied. "I expect you to survive." He held the glowing crystal toward the stars. The ancient device awakened. Blue light spread across the bridge. Every human ship began transmitting the same strange signal. Not a weapon. Not a command. A frequency. The prison responded. For the first time in millions of years, the ancient structure came alive. Massive rings hidden beneath its surface began to rotate. The symbols covering the prison shone brighter than nearby stars. The harvesters suddenly stopped. Every creature turned toward Kane's ship. For the first time, they hesitated. The station AI spoke once more. Its ancient voice echoed across every communication channel. "Authorized guardian detected. Human genetic pattern confirmed. Gate restoration sequence initiated." Every alien officer stared in disbelief. Commander Velka whispered, "The prison recognizes humans?" Kane answered quietly, "We weren't chosen because we were the strongest. We were chosen because we never stopped protecting others." The glowing rings expanded until they surrounded the entire battlefield. Space itself began folding inward. The tiers in reality slowly closed. The harvesters fought back. Their claws struck the invisible barriers. Stars shook. Entire moons cracked apart. But the ancient machine held. The builders had designed it for exactly this moment. One enormous harvester charged toward Kane's flagship. Its shadow covered dozens of ships. Just before it reached them, the gate key shattered. A brilliant wave of blue light exploded across space. The harvester froze, then slowly dissolved into glowing dust. The remaining creatures screamed. It was not a sound. It was a feeling that every living mind could hear. One by one, they were pulled back into the closing dimensional gate. The prison sealed itself. The darkness vanished. The stars returned. Silence filled the galaxy once again. Hours later, rescue ships searched the battlefield. Thousands had survived. Millions had not. Outpost K-47 drifted quietly through space once more. This time, its purpose was understood. It was never a mining station. It had always been a lock. Commander Velka stood beside Admiral Kane aboard the Resolute. "I judged humans too quickly," she admitted. "I thought courage meant charging into battle." Kane smiled. "Sometimes courage means knowing when not to fight." She looked toward the stars. "The Alliance owes humanity everything."
Kane shook his head. "No."
"Just remember what happened here. Some doors exist for a reason." Months later, representatives from every major civilization gathered for the largest council meeting in galactic history. A new agreement was signed. Humanity was no longer seen as the youngest race. They became the official guardians of the ancient gates, trusted with protecting every known prison left behind by the first builders. From that day forward, Whenever explorers discovered strange ruins or mysterious sealed worlds, they followed one simple rule.
Call the humans first.
Because the galaxy had learned a lesson written in the lives of millions. Not every mystery should be opened. Not every signal deserves an answer. And when humanity tells you to stay away, you listen. Because sometimes, the bravest thing a human can do is stop the entire galaxy from making one fatal mistake.
The end.